Opening statement about the Big Ten-ACC Challenge, then we'll open up for a couple of questions.
Yeah. Well, ACC Big Ten Challenge is here, and it's one of the premier events, clearly in college basketball every year that's, gets the season kicked off. This season feels obviously a little bit different, but the fact that the two conferences have been able to pull it off gives us another opportunity to have a marquee non-conference game. And Florida State, coming off an ACC championship a year ago, we had them in our place last year. So we have clearly the utmost respect for what they're doing there with their program. They're very similar that they were a year ago. And just in talking to a lot of people, feel like Florida State feels, I'm not speaking for them, but feel like Florida State has a chance to contend for another ACC championship. So playing against a great opponent on the road. And for our guys, it's going to be a good test, deal with a lot of pressure. That's what this game comes down to. And, having some real feedback coming out of Asheville a week ago and seeing the different styles that we played there, hopefully, our guys are a little bit more mature and a little bit more experienced in game situations. But this one's going to present a lot of challenges. And, going down there and playing them at their place where they've had tremendous success here recently. And they have a great culture of winning right now. So Florida State's a great team. And to be able to go down there and play, get another game in, hopefully. Just watch college basketball right now. It's there's no guarantees that you're going to be able to pull games off. So, hopefully we get down there and things go well and we get to the jump. And very few teams in the country will have played the schedule that we've played to start.
Okay, Alex, first question.
Archie, two-part question. First, do you expect to have Al or Joey available tomorrow? And second part, in terms of Rob's play so far, he shot the ball pretty well from the perimeter. Is that something that you think that maybe he can bring to this team, maybe at a higher percentage that he's shot in previous years, kind of based on just his improvement year over year?
I think first of all, our health going into today, we have to be smart with practice. We've been very limited with our bodies coming out of Asheville. Joey hasn't participated in anything, and I doubt he'll be available here in the near future just because we're trying to figure out what the best plan of action is for him. So we're not planning on having Joe right now or in the immediate future unless something changes. Al's been very slow on his recovery. He realistically had a tough ankle sprain. And it's been about a week. So he started to increase his activity. He did a little bit more yesterday in practice, which was a live practice, but his live action wasn't very much. So we'll see how he feels today. And then we don't play till tomorrow night. So, I assume he'll continue to do his treatments and get better, and he'll probably be more of a game time decision to see how he feels. Second part was Rob. And I think your question stemmed around his consistency shooting the ball. And I think Rob is one of our most consistent shooters on a daily basis right now. He's worked very hard in the off season. He's played a lot of games under his belt. And I think he's shown in times in his career, he's make big shots. I think the thing with Rob is to be confident and be more of a catch ready guy, not per se, when he has to take it, but when he's open, we feel he's a guy that, has got to deliver for us from three. Made two really big shots against Stanford. I mean, two really big shots. It wasn't his best game down there. It's probably the worst game that he played of our four during the course of the thing. But for him to step up and bang two really big shots, they went under a ball screen. He hit one right at the top, and then he hit another one in the right corner. I'm not sure who kicked it to him, maybe Armon, but definitely Rob's got confidence in his shot. He shoots it every day in practice like he does in the game. Rob takes good shots, and I think when he takes good shots, he has a chance to be one of our most consistent guys. And as the season continues to unfold, we're going to need more consistency behind the line, especially for guys like him. And the more consistent he is, the more difficult we become.
Kevin Pegram, then Zach.
Yeah, Coach, Florida State's size and length, how do you deal with it? And is there anything you kind of take even from a year ago when you faced a similar kind of roster that you can kind of implement into this game?
Yeah, Florida State's roster, and I think, Coach Hamilton and his staff do a phenomenal job of recruiting to their style and their system. It's built, realistically to withstand, major departures. They have a lot of guys in the last 5 years that have went to the NBA. They lost 2 first-round lottery picks off last year's team. and Vassell and Pat Williams, and Williams didn't even start. And they're stunning. I think they stun you when you look at them from top to bottom. It's got to be one of the biggest teams in college basketball year in and year out, not just inside, but their perimeter guys are all very, very physically gifted, long, athletic. And that's what they do with their system. They bring 10 to 12 players a game. They're able to use their depth and their physicality over the course of the game to pressure you and wear you down. And, clearly that's what they're built to do. And you don't see very many teams like it. I think Texas was very, very athletic and very physically strong inside. I don't know if Texas's guards are as big as Florida State's over the course of, the depth, but I think Texas gave us a real hard time in and around the basket, and Texas gave us a real hard time of just making things easy on us with their athleticism, their length, and their talent. And we had to learn a hard lesson that day about being able to be good at what we're doing and be stronger with the ball, be stronger in our execution. This game is even a little bit different than that one because it's underneath out of bounds defense. It's full court pressure on makes and misses. It's side out of bounds pressure. It's in the half court when you cross half court. It's pressure. It's constantly on top of you in terms of not allowing you to do what you want to do. And most coaches that you'll talk to, you could pretty much scrap 95% of what you do on a daily basis because it doesn't work against them. So you have to go in there with a different mindset and a different game plan. And playing them a year ago, I think, gives the returners probably an indication of the how good they are. But last year's game, if you remember, was just an incredible environment in Assembly Hall. There was a lot of juice in the building. There was a lot of adrenaline that night. And, that won't be the case as we go down there, to have that type of advantage that we had a year ago in our home building. So we'll have to go down to a place they're very successful. But to me, this is, I know they'll be ready. They haven't really played a lot of games, maybe just one game so far. So to me, they got to be chomping at the bit to play against a team like ourselves coming in the door.
Mike?
Yes. To follow along those lines, Scotty Barnes is kind of unique to be playing point guard at his size. What does that mean for your defense? What does that allow them to do that maybe other teams can't do?
Well, Scotty Barnes is a really highly decorated player coming in the door. He's one of the best players to come out of high school last year, but tremendous size. He's got to be 6'9" plus, but he's got great ball skills. He's a guy that can really handle the ball. He's got great length. He makes good decisions. But when you're playing him at the point, that's a different matchup. I think that we played Stanford the other day, and they had Zaire was maybe similar size, but not the same guy in terms of with the ball. Scotty does a lot more facilitating for him. He's much more of a hard driver. He's clearly great around the basket. He's a point guard that's going to hit you on the offensive glass at 6'9". So it creates a number of matchup problems for you just in terms of being able to, scouting or whatever you're going to do versus him. But his size and playing over top of you is definitely a unique thing for them. And he does a really good job here, and even early in the season, watching them play their first game. I mean, he runs their team. And, but as the season continues to evolve, he's going to continue to grow up, and, he creates a lot of problems defensively. He's, 6'9" plus on the perimeter, and they're doing a lot of switching, a lot of denying. And in transition, he's really good. In the half court, he seems to run their team the way they want him to run the team. He doesn't have a problem doing that. But I think once he's in and around 12 feet, where it gets unique, whether it's post-ups, drives, offensive rebounding, he's a unique matchup for any guard.
Okay, we'll close out with Zach and then Jeff.
Archie, obviously Maui was 3 games in 3 days, and I know you guys want to get whatever games you can in right now, but at the same time, I guess both maybe from a health standpoint and also a standpoint of just getting better after kind of a stop and start off season, is there value maybe at a time of year when you'd probably be playing a lot of games in a condensed period of time to having a little bit more breathing room between some of these games? Again, maybe Maui being the exception.
I guess that's probably a good way of looking at it on a normal setting is that you could like the space in between games to continue to improve and get better, and you have more time to work. But I just think with what we've done in terms of downtime in the off season, pauses and downtime during the preseason, that we've been chomping at the bit to get to the games. And once you get a taste of playing the games, you want to play more games. You're only going to get better, especially your young guys are only going to really get better when they get in the heat of the battle. So I thought being able to play a game before we went to Maui was really important. And then the Maui event, getting 3 games in 3 days is a very difficult challenge, but you're playing the game. You're learning on the run. You're trying to improve. And there's not a lot of practice time. For us coming out of Maui, it would have been nice to have another game. But, looking at what we had to endure down there, and then, sort of with our health status, it's probably good we had a few days in between. But, I think right now, we're ready to play the games. I think every team in college basketball right now is almost like in slow motion, and you want to keep it going. You want to keep your momentum going. You want to play. For us, I think in a normal setting, you're looking for home games in the month of December, and that's not the case this year. It's just going to be one of those things where, we're going to spend really the entire month before we get to conference play, playing good teams away from home. So it's a unique year in that, but I just think in general, the games right now, people want to get to the games. They're almost anxious and nervous to play them, and you want to play them. And the coaches, I think, need the games to help their players more so than practicing another 4 or 5 times.
Jeff, finish it up.
Hey, Coach. Armon Franklin. I think when he was a senior, I wrote that he could become a Big Ten all-defensive player. Or at least he had the potential to get there. Am I crazy, or can he get there?
You're crazy.
Okay. If he can get there, he had a great game against Zaire, but what's the next step? What does a guy have to do to really become that guy on somewhat of a regular basis?
Well, I think, one of the things, Jeff, is that Armon got a lot of credit for playing really good defense, I guess, against Stanford because, quote unquote, he was matched up against a really highly regarded guy, and he did a good job. But Armon has played very, very good defense for our team from the very first game to the Providence game, Texas game, and then move into it. Armon has become very quietly, as I said the word the other day, he is dependable, where when the coaching staff doesn't worry about him, and you're not concerned about him out on the floor, that's when you sort of arrive as a guy, I think, that in college that you can play the right way on defense as a team defender, and you're giving great effort. And at the end of the day, you're playing rock solid, and you're starting to become accountable to your teammates and dependable. I think that's what Armon has become. A year ago at this time, he wasn't as big and strong. He didn't have the experience. He, although was playing some minutes here early in the season, but he didn't mix it up as much. He didn't rebound the ball enough at the guard spot. He got blown by a lot, to be quite honest with you, which a lot of young guys do early in their career. And a year later, just in watching him be stronger, being a guy that I watch him practice every day, do the same thing, and then coming into the games, bringing what he did a year ago with great IQ, great team awareness, and a great understanding of concepts. Now being bigger, stronger, more physical has given him a chance, I think, to be better in one-on-one situations. And like I said, I think right after Maui, the thing I was most impressed with Armon in that tournament was I think he had 18 defensive rebounds, for us at the guard spot. Averaging 6 defensive rebounds at the guard spot is a heck of a number for a guy like him. He's going, last year at this time, we were begging him to mix it up, get loose balls, get a couple rebounds for us at the guard spot. That's what we're going to need to do. And this year's team, I think the biggest deficiency is rebounding overall as a team. And for him to be able to play the third guard or be able to, play with another couple guys out there, depending on the position, for him to be able to rebound the ball the way he's doing it, that's a big help for our team. It's a big, big advantage, in terms of the thing. But the thing I'm most proud of Armon is, he's the same attitude every day. He understands what needs to be done. He doesn't question anything. And I think just in terms of playing against Stanford or Providence or Texas or going into Florida State, we have a trust with Armon right now in terms of he understands how to play, what needs to be done. And we don't question, in terms of his effort level. I think his ability level has gotten better because he's gotten older and stronger. But for our team in general, to have a guy that's emerged on that side of the ball is big. I think Rob does a pretty good job for us as well. But to have another guy to me that our coaching staff really trusts and knows scouting, pays attention, to me is big. And that's part of the evolution of a player and his opportunity this year. He's taken full advantage of it. He's growing his role. And to me, he's one of the bright spots here early in the year that he's a much improved player.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Coach, thank you very much. We're going to switch over to the players here, and